Hey, Doc.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Let me turn up my
Good.
volume here so I can
Okay.
hear
Can you
you.
hear me okay?
I can hear you beautiful, and you look beautiful. You
Okay.
look fantastic. You look like you
Thank
are a
you.
participant. You look like you're a participant in your own mindology fitness program.
That's a good thing, right? I'm a
Absolutely.
product of the products.
You're a product of the product. Yeah, I
Yes.
just let people know. I gave them your bio in terms of all the things you've done in Hollywood, uh, acting and directing, as well as just the amount of success you had in that particular world,
Hmm.
and then you shifted. You left Hollywood
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
to actually assist people in basically eradicating their limited beliefs that produce all kinds of chaos and bad experiences in their life. Now, how did that shift take place? I mean, first of all, I need to tell everybody, oftentimes when I say I'm having so and so on my interviewing so and so, and I say they're my friend. Troy Byer is my real friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I say someone's my friend on this, it's not like Hollywood friend. It's not like when they get on television, oh, so and so is my friend. No, Troy Byer is really my friend, and we've known each other for years. He's
Oh,
not only been attending
yes.
Agape for years, but we're close. So I just want you to know that. So uh, I know what she's about, and I know what she's doing, and I know her program. So I thought it was important to bring her on because so many people are suffering from a lot of anxiety and anxiousness and fear. I've always taught that the greatest virus of the mind is the virus of fear. And
Right.
they're afraid of so many things, and they're having so much anxiety, and it's producing so many toxic chemicals in their body. So I thought it would be a good time to have Troy on as she shares with us her own life journey, but also this mindology fitness program that I think is very powerful at this time in human history. So what made you move from Hollywood into what you're doing now? I mean, what was the impetus?
So depression really was my impetus. I was not doing as well as I wanted to do in show business, and I just, excuse me, excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Troy, you do anything for a blessing. God bless you.
That's right. I'm a blessing monger. As you know, Michael, I really was having a hard time, and I went through into, I call it the dark night of the soul. I was struggling as an actress. I was in a profession that I wasn't crazy about because I was failing miserably, even though I've had a certain amount of success. Success is so subjective, and I wasn't where I wanted to be. And even after directing films as a writer director, as a Black filmmaker, I still couldn't even get an agent. And my films were like doing really well. I could
Yeah.
not pay someone to hire me. And I thought, I don't want to wake up when I'm 50 something years old waiting for someone to validate my existence. I'm not doing it like that. And like I said, I had a dark night of the soul, and I had to come to the Lord conversation. And God really said to me, like, who do you want to be in this world for other people? Forget about who you want to be for yourself, which is a celebrity and all that other glatter. I've always wanted to be a psychologist. I always wanted to find a way to make a difference for humanity. I was afraid to go back to school. I was 42 years old. I was a straight D student in high school, right? But I
Ah,
didn't want to be anything less than a doctor. And so I just went for it. And what has allowed me to excel academically has nothing to do with my intelligence and everything to do with my passion and my commitment to making a difference for humanity. And that is the only way I got through statistics and all those other courses in grad school. you know so the impetus was really total depression and hopelessness. And I thought, if I can pull myself out, I'm going to learn how to pull other people out. And that's how I end up eventually creating Mindology Fitness.
right. So your darkness just led you to the light. That
Yes.
Yeah, because I
Right.
always teach that people grow in two ways. They grow through pain or insight. And so your
Mm-hmm.
pain pushed you to have a great insight into serving other people. And so
Yes.
mindology emerged. So how did that come about? I mean, I know about the program. I'm involved with the program,
Yes, you
and
are.
it's very powerful from young kids all the way up to our elders in our society. It makes a big
Right.
difference. How did that idea come land in you, and then you ultimately manifested it?
You know, it's really interesting. They say that, you know, necessity is the mother of all great inventions. I needed something for
Right.
myself. I had learned so many different things over the years, a little Buddhism here, a little Islam here, a little Christianity here, a little yoga here. And I thought there's just so much. There's got to be a way to put all of this together succinctly and have it be as impactful as it is individually. And so I started studying neuroscience. I am addicted to the study of neuroscience and anything that has to do with neuroplasticity and using the power of our mind to reprogram behavior. And I started really getting into that during my, while I was doing my doctoral work. And then I started putting all these modalities together that I learned, including stuff I learned from you. You know, and I created this program, which is a smorgasbord of everything that's cool that we spiritual people want to be digging on a daily basis, you know, which is one-stop shopping.
Right.
So I'd like to say that I created it all, but I didn't. I'm just a really great spiritual cook, because what I made is a wonderful spiritual soup, mindology fitness,
Right.
and I put my own little touch to it, but it's 98% science-based. And like I said, I found the wonderful way to bring it all together so it really works.
Right. You're a cook and a sponge.
I'm a cook and a sponge. That's exactly right. I taste it. I like it. I put it in the program.
Right. So, okay. So that's how you started it. Now,
Yes.
break it down to us. What actually is Mondology Fitness? If you could, you know, somebody's never heard of it, you know, what would you tell them that it is, and what are some of the protocols?
Okay, great. So Mindology Fitness is a fitness program that's designed to strengthen the body, the mind, and the spirit. And it's based off 98% science-based methods and technologies. Some of the most scientifically successful healing technologies in the world are in the program. And when we do the program, we start with the body, because I've learned that in order for people to get into their mind, we have to relieve them of all the concerns of their body. So we deal with the body first. We look to see where your pain may be hiding, what's going on. And we do practices to help you relieve that pain. Sometimes when we have pain in the body, as you know, it's something that needs to be revealed so it can then be healed. So the body part is all about revealing what's off in the body, and then we heal it. And we actually do heal in one session. It's possible. It's really miraculous what the program can offer. And then once the body is clear, we then move into the mind, because the mind is such a dangerous neighborhood. You should really never go in there alone and without being properly armed, right?
Without adult supervision.
Without adult supervision, exactly. So we work on the mind. We get the mind right. But the first thing we do is we do what's called free flow. Allow your thoughts to go. People, we don't give ourselves permission to just sit and think about anything, good, bad, or ugly. We think, oh, I can only think positive. I can only think good thoughts. Because here's the deal. Until you quiet the mind, you can never have a conversation with your mind that's going to make a difference. A quiet mind is a mind that will listen. So you first got to let it talk. What does it want to say? What is all the junk in the trunk that you got to get out? Okay. So that's really important. Then once we get the mind all clear, then we start going in, right? We start going in like, what's a problem that you're dealing with that you want resolution around? Now let's look at that from a different perspective. What is that problem here for? Like every day we have different problems, which is why every day I do mindology. And then the last part of the class is all about activating our spiritual power, which is through regulating our heart rate variability using heart math, which is a practice that is endorsed by Stanford and Harvard and NASA. And once we go into the spiritual part, we then get to create who we're going to be for ourselves today. Now, the great thing about, I just want to tell, so that's the Mindology Fitness program, and I love it. But I've always wanted to work with you, Michael, as you know. So I created Mindology Movement, and can I talk about that now?
Yeah, absolutely. I was getting ready to ask you, because I know movement is a great part of Mindology.
Right.
So I was going to ask you about that particular protocol, and then absolutely talk about whatever you want to talk about. Yeah.
Okay, good. So Mindology Fitness is fun. It's great. I love it. I am a product of my product for sure. But I started to think to myself, sometimes I have to decide, do I want to go to the gym and work out my body, or do I want to do Mindology Fitness and work out my mind? So then I thought, well, what if I could do both? So that's when I contacted Reverend Michael and I said, look, I want to create something called Mindology Movement. And the first part will be like going to the gym. And the second part will be like going to the ashram. And that's what Michael and I created. And I'm so proud of it. I really am. It's called Mindology Movement. It will be available March 3rd at 3 p.m. And it's amazing. So how it starts out is I take you through the fitness part. So the first part, we're working out our body, really working out our body. But what makes our fitness program different is that we are asking you to use your mind's eye to create what you want to see your body look like before we have you work it out. So I asked you, what do you want your arms to look like? Using your mind's eye, imagine your arms, imagine the cuts, imagine the way you want your arm to look. And then we start doing curls together to Michael Beckwith's music while you're using your mind's eye to create what you want this to look like. Because even Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. We know curls will give us the biceps. But using Michael Beckwith's music, by the way, I love your music so much.
Thank you. And you're using my voice too. I mean,
yeah. Well, I was going to get to that. That's the spiritual part.
yeah. Okay. Continue.
Okay. I'm so excited. It's my favorite program. My body has changed already using it. Seriously, I've been using the visualization, especially for my abs. So you visualize the abs you want, and then we start doing the crunches, visualizing what we want, using Michael Beckwith's music, using Michael Beckwith's voice. And then once we finish working out the body, then we move to work out the mind. And it's the same thing like Mindology Fitness. We empty the mind. What's in the trunk that's full of junk? What is in the, like, we get that all empty using Michael's music and using my guidance. And then the end is ridiculous, you guys. I'm telling you. When we get to the spirit and we start meditating and really creating who we want to be, and we do it to Michael Beckwith. I was in the studio when we were recording it. And Michael, I swear I saw you levitate. I'm telling you. I know that sounds crazy as like they're like, she's just.
I was in a zone. I was just lifted up, and that music was playing, and I just started speaking, and I could see all the people taking jumping into the movement. I could feel them already, and I just spoke. And I remember, I think you were crying when I finished.
I was so moved. Even now, I get so moved by just how you just tapped in. Because first of all, when we're in that part of the workout program, we're designing who we want to be for ourselves in life. And that's my job, is to help you get there mentally. And as much as I like to think that I am a spiritual teacher, there is no one in my mind other than Paramahansa Yogananda that can touch what you bring, the essence of your work and your words. And so I was doing the exercise in my mind as though I was in the class while you were doing it. And I was just so overwhelmed. Even now, I've been editing and getting it ready for our release date. But you guys, Mindology Movement, it's with Beckwith and Byer. Woohoo, not Byer, it's Byer.
B-Y-E-R.
Yes. It's going to be amazing. It's a workout you don't want to miss. And it's only a half an hour, and you get to work out your body and you get to work out your mind. So I really, like I said, I designed something that I thought would be great for me. Like, I want to be able to work out my mind and my body at the same time. But sometimes I have to choose between meditating or going to the gym. That's just how life shows up. But with this, it's the gym and the ashram coming together.
In one program. Now, what you've done is, most people don't realize that basically the yoga practice is specifically to prepare you for meditation. So certain kind of movement, Qigong, Tai Chi, martial arts, a lot of these programs are actually to prepare yourself so that you can actually go into the spiritual realm that you're discussing. So you have put together the movement, the dance, the energy, the imagination, and in the spiritual realm, as you're saying, an all-one program. And it's interesting that we were having a conversation and we started something very similar, because I started Dance with the Rev at Agape. I had a dream about it. I think you had a dream or something about me doing it or something.
Right. So you guys, what you should know is Michael and I have known each other for like 23 lifetimes now, we found out. 23
or 26 is what somebody said.
Yeah. So we have such a connection, and we were hanging out with, and it's not romantic, for all of you guys, they getting together, they don't hooked up. No, the only hookup we have is with God in our heart and our friendship. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just felt like I had to say that. Spirit's like,
Yeah. People are always curious, but we're tight. Yeah, we're friends.
Yeah. They
Good
don't understand. But anyway, when you really are coming from the spirit, the gender doesn't matter. You just connect with your people. So anyway, Michael was having this like thing going on with his music, and he felt like there needed to be a shift in what he was doing in front of the congregation. And I do a lot of plant medicine, ayahuasca. And during one of my journeys, ayahuasca said to me, when you are working with your clients and you're doing transformational work, have them use their body. You want them to start dancing, especially if they have a negative thought, because when you dance, the frequency that you're at, there is no space for negativity to exist. Right. So I said this to Michael, and he's like, I just had that dream that I'm supposed to be dancing at Agape.
Right.
There we go.
I just done it that week, and then it became a part of the service. So we actually.
And I didn't know.
Yeah, I know you didn't even know. You said, what? Yeah. So we were already in sync. Yeah. And now I will end the service with the dance and then go into prayer. Right. So people are up dancing, moving their bodies, shaking everything off they don't need. And then we go into the prayer mode of the service. Right. And then when we turn it out. And so I'm saying that to say, what you have put together, you brought, as you already said at the beginning, you brought the best modalities and put them all into one program. You have the heart math. You have the right use of the imagination. You have the mind letting it do whatever it wants to do without you trying to control it. You have using your imagination to see who you want to be, see what your body wants to look like, see the health flowing, the movement, and then the whole spiritual connection where everything in the spiritual realm is already all right. So it begins to be the activity of our awareness. And you have done a fantastic job. And I dare say you're just beginning. You're just starting. I mean, I do believe you're making an easier access for people to move into the dynamic of having a level of dominion over their own awareness, dominion over their own body, and then the whole elimination of fear. I mean, you deal with depression, people that are depressed, anxiousness. You teach mudras around how to come out of fear and how to come out of depression. That's right. We use mudras. Yeah. You have when I'm saying this because I do want people after this interview to not only go to your Instagram page, because oftentimes you will share some of these things for people to eliminate their anxiety or depression or things like that. And then I also want them obviously to understand about the Mindology movement. But I'm just kind of proud of you over the years because you have really taken yourself on.
Thank you. Well, I sure have. Thank you.
You've actually participated in your own transformation as a powerful example of, as you said, going from the dark night of the soul, totally back against the wall, depression, not knowing what you're going to do, to actually working on yourself and then putting all the things together that work for you into a program that's easily accessible to the masses. And it's not gender exclusive. It's not age exclusive. No. The demographics are all over the place.
Yeah. Also, the program Mindology Movement, you can, if you have any physical restrictions, if you're confined to a wheelchair, Michael and I designed the program so that you could still do the physical fitness workout part of the program. You could do the whole program. So if you guys know anyone who has any physical limitations that keeps them from going to the gym, we got you. We did it. We figured it out. It's all good. And Michael, thank you for that acknowledgement.
Yeah, this is beautiful. First of all, how do they find Mindology Movement?
Okay, so if you go to mindologyfitness.com, go to where it says programs, you'll see a drop-down link. You go right to where it says classes, and you'll see Mindology Movement there. You'll see the option to order. You can pre-order it now. It will be released March 3rd at 3 p.m. So that's 333. Yes, that was intentionally. That's it. And it's $20 per class. So if you want, you can buy a package of classes, whatever works for you. Eventually we'll have some discounts available. The other thing, Michael,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish.
I just wanted to thank you for that acknowledgement, because if anyone knows, where I've been to where I am now, it's you. And yesterday, no, on the 8th, I just want to just keeping it real. I was depressed. I haven't been depressed in a long time. But March 8th, I was depressed. My daughter was depressed. My sister, we were all like dealing with something was going on. I didn't realize that was the dark moon, the first day of the dark moon.
Oh, very
From
sensitive.
the 8th to the 11th. Yes, and I'm very sensitive. But I was so depressed. And I had to just go do a mindology movement class. And what a difference. At the end of the class, I was so productive. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I've been putting this off. I mean, it really absolutely does work. And I kind of got excited that I was depressed, because usually I'm very good at regulating my emotions. I was like, oh, this is good. Let me see if it works.
I got something to work with.
Yeah, it was good. When I get to put my own stuff to the test, right? Because every day I'm on a good vibe, but it was good. It was good to be depressed and know that it works.
Let me ask you this. Let me tell people, first of all, as we conclude this particular interview, I'm going to go with part 2 with Troy shortly. We're going to do something on Zoom, and I'm going to put it on my app. And so for those of you who have the app, you'll tune in and you'll see part 2 of this. If you don't have the app, just go to michaelbbeckwith.com, and it shows you how to get my app. I have programs on there. I have moments of inspiration. There'll be more put on there every week. But the second part of Troy's interview will be on that, because when we go into that interview, and I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of it now, I'm going to have her do some of the mudras. I'm going to have her deal with certain things, so you'll have some visual ways of handling issues in your life. So just as an example, Troy, someone suffering from anxiety, what would you tell them? So
just straight off the bat, if you're suffering from anxiety, the first thing, by the way, mindology is all about teaching you how to organically heal, so you don't have to swallow a pill, right? We're not against medical, medicine, but if we can avoid it, let's do that. So if you have anxiety, first thing you do is you want to squeeze your ring finger. Just squeeze it. Squeeze it until you feel the pulsing sensation, and what you're doing.
The pinky?
The ring finger.
The right ring finger, okay.
And if you can't remember about anxiety, I always say, just if you're a woman, remember when we were younger, we were married, would worry, get anxiety. Is he going to put a ring on it? So that's how you remember that this is anxiety, okay? I have mnemonic devices for all of the fingers. I'll be talking about that when we go to your Zoom call. But for right now, squeeze your ring finger. And if you squeeze your ring finger, maybe 30 seconds, you'll start interrupting the neurotransmitters that are affiliated with anxiety. And that's what we want to do. We want to interrupt. In this particular case, it would be cortisol, which is also the stress hormone. If we can interrupt that stress hormone, hormone from reaching a certain level in our body, then we can intercept the experience of anxiety and return to our baseline. So here you go, right here. Anxiety. Right. But there are more for anxieties. I have a few. We have a few tricks for anxiety.
Right, because you have something, you deal with depression, anxiety, I guess fear.
Mm-hmm. Insomnia. Any unwanted emotion can be handled by the tools, the methodologies that we teach in mindology.
Outstanding. This has been great. And the other thing, and also the movement itself, when you have everybody moving, doing tonic chemicals through the body temple rather than the cortisol. And you need to understand that also slows down your aging process, folks. It balances your immune system. And so, you're able to move and dance and work with yourself in a very powerful way. And so this is Dr. Troy Byer, not an honorary doctorate, but an actual PhD in psychology. So clinical psychology. So she's put together the best of all of that with her spiritual understanding and her spiritual tools that she has learned over the years.
From my teacher, you.
God bless you.
And Yogananda.
You know what? There has to be good students, And what I'm pleased about, and I was just sharing this with somebody recently, what's bringing me joy these days is watching my students go out in the world and change the world.
Yeah.
I'm watching people that have emerged out of Agape, and they're doing powerful things. I look at Akuyo Graham doing Spirit Awakening. I look at you doing Mindology. I can go down the list. There are people out here that have actually gone through their own healing process, understanding the universal principles, practicing them, having a difference in their own awareness, and then going out in their gifted area, making a difference. And you're one of those people.
Thank you. You remember just a quick story? I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said, you're one of those people.
Oh, thank you. The best thing ever, Michael. I think you remember, maybe it was like 9 years ago. I went to this restaurant and there were people crowding to get to the counter, and I was very patient. And this one girl, she's like, "I'm sorry, can I get ahead of you?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. Go ahead." And she looked at me and she says, "You remind me of someone who goes to this church, Agape. You just remind me of someone like that." It's like, because there's just like, you get that Agapean thing going on. I was just like, chill. And that is the first time I realized that it's so great to study you to the point that your teaching becomes the walk that I talk without even speaking,
You're just the vibrational example of it. Yeah. I remember you telling me that. I remember that story.
Yeah, and you shared it with the congregation too, when I told you. Yeah.
It's like the story of
it's a vibe.
The story of Jesus. Yeah. And it's supposedly, obviously the Roman Empire is occupying the territory, and people always knew who had been with Jesus because they glowed. They were chill. In the midst of all the stuff going down in society, when they had people who had been with Jesus, they had a different, they weren't anxious. They had a different feeling tone. And so you coming out of Agape, you have that bright smile, you know how to deal with your own emotions, you're not projecting it onto other people, you're taking full responsibility for them, and you go through your own healing process, and now you've given us Mindology, baby. So we're going to go do part 2. Before we do part 2, awesome. Just tell them one more time what your Instagram page is, and one more time where they find Mindology.
Okay, Instagram page is Troy Byer. We have a Mindology fitness page. Please also feel free to follow us there. And you may find Mindology, everything and anything, at mindologyfitness.com. And it's MINDOLOGY fitness.com. We have a lot of free programs too, by the way, just so you know. If there are some people who are running a little low on cash, my commitment is to provide affordable mind care that's available for everyone everywhere. So we have free programming for kids. We have free programming for adults. So, and if you can't afford $20 for a class, just shoot me a little note and I will be happy to just gift it to you. I just want everybody to have these tools so that we can stop finding other ways to self-soothe. We got this. We can do this. I know it.
I like how you said that.
Yeah, right?
You have to stop finding other ways to self-soothe. That's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. Very classy.
Okay, let's be careful.
I'll see you in a few moments.
Okay.
As we do part 2, in which you get to bring some of the other mudras so that people can actually have a practical hands-on teaching on how to handle certain emotions that come up in their life. So,
all right, let me know if you actually want to do an exercise to the music. We can do that too.
Okay, we'll do whatever you want to do.
We can go in.
All right. Okay. I'll see you in a minute.
See you soon. Okay, bye-bye.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.